It was then that I understood my father's words to be careful of women. Panic set in as I tried to make sense of the situation, but her evil grin revealed a darker truth beneath the facade of allure. Hello, horror fanatics. Today's video is about eyewitness accounts to horror incidents in their different regions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to notify you of the next horror in your neighborhood. Let's go. So let me tell you about this restaurant in Savannah. It had that old southern charm, you know? Wooden tables, flickering candles, and an ambience that felt straight out of a southern gothic novel. I figured it'd be a cozy dinner spot. But the moment I stepped in, something felt off. The waiter, with his creepy smile, recommended a dish that tasted weird, bitter, with an aftertaste that just wouldn't quit. No one else seemed to notice, lost in their own world of lively chatter. As the night wore on, the place got downright creepy. Shadows started playing tricks, and the piano in the corner played this mournful tune. The ambiance went from charming to downright dreadful. Then, out of nowhere, the lights went out. Panic set in. People were stumbling around, and I could swear I heard phantom footsteps. In the darkness, a ghostly figure appeared, like something out of a horror movie. Eyes fixed on me, it invited us to join some otherworldly feast. Someone screamed, breaking the eerie silence, and that ghostly figure. It felt too real. The aftermath was like something from a nightmare. I was sweating profusely in what looked like seconds. Without being told, I dashed out. Nobody wanted to talk about what happened, but that restaurant, once charming, became a haunted memory. A place where the living and the dead crossed paths, leaving everyone with a horror story they'd never forget. So, I had a horrific experience in an Ohio bar that still sends shivers down my spine. It was just a regular Friday night, the air thick with the mingling scents of beer and laughter. Little did I know, the night would unravel into a nightmare. As I nursed my drink, a group of men walked in. They looked ordinary at first, just strangers in a bar. But there was something off about them, an unsettling air that made my instincts scream danger. The leader, a towering figure with a malevolent glint in his eyes, surveyed the room. Without a word, they took a booth in the darkest corner, their presence casting a horrendous shadow over the otherwise jovial atmosphere. As the night wore on, their behavior became increasingly erratic. Whispers of menacing laughter echoed through the bar, making me terrified. I tried to focus on my drink, but a gut feeling told me to keep an eye on those men. They seemed to be cloaked in some darkness, a first appearance dread that made the air heavy with foreboding. Suddenly, their leader stood up, his eyes locking onto mine with a predatory intensity. The room fell silent as he approached, his henchmen trailing behind him like obedient shadows. Fear gripped me, and I felt the weight of impending doom. As he stood inches away, a malevolent grin stretched across his face. He spoke in hushed tones, words that had my bladder shaking. It wasn't just the content, it was the unhinged look in his eyes, like a predator toying with its prey. At that moment, I felt the bar transform into a sinister stage. The patrons became unwitting spectators to a deadly performance, trapped in the claustrophobic grip of fear. The leader's words dripped with menace, each syllable a calculated assault on my sanity. His henchmen closed in, their presence stifling. I felt like a trapped animal, cornered by an unseen force. The room seemed to constrict around me, and the air became thick with an oppressive malevolence. Just as the situation heightened, they retreated. The leader's laughter echoed through the bar as they exited, leaving behind an atmosphere tainted with lingering dread. The patrons, still paralyzed by the encounter, exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of what had just transpired. To this day, the memory of those random men in that Ohio bar haunts me. The encounter left an indelible mark on my psyche, a chilling reminder that darkness can manifest in the most unexpected places, casting an ominous shadow over the thin veneer of normalcy we often take for granted. this happened to me on the streets of Columbus, Ohio. It all began on a cold winter night, the kind that sends a shiver down your spine even before anything eerie unfolds. I was walking down a desolate street, the echo of my footsteps reverberating in the silence. As I turned a corner, I saw them. A group of strangers with an unsettling air. Their eyes seemed to pierce through the darkness, fixating on me with an intensity that sent chills down my spine. Instinct screamed danger, and I quickened my pace, hoping to escape their ominous presence. But they matched my every step, shadows merging with the night as they closed in. Panic set in, and I felt like prey in a death game. In a desperate bid for safety, I spotted a dimly lit bar up ahead. The neon sign flickered like a beacon of hope in the sea of darkness. I rushed inside, the doorbell jingling in desperation as I sought refuge from the looming threat outside. The bar, with its warm glow and muffled conversations, felt like a sanctuary against the encroaching darkness. I chose a corner booth, hoping to blend into the background, but the unease lingered like a phantom in the air. As I sipped my drink, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows outside seemed to press against the windows, their ominous presence casting an eerie glow on the patrons. It was as if the night itself had conspired to trap me in this macabre theater. Minutes later, the door creaked open. My heart skipped a beat as those strangers entered the bar, their eyes fixated on me. The air became charged with an indescribable tension as they took a corner booth. They took turns in stealing gazes once in a while. Whispers of their ominous presence circulated among the patrons, and a collective unease settled over the bar. The bartender, normally jovial, exchanged hushed words with the bouncer, who stood watchful at the entrance. The leader of their group kept his focus on me. Every sip of my drink felt like a countdown to an inevitable confrontation. The bar, once a sanctuary, had transformed into a battleground of primal fear. Just as the tension reached its peak, I started hearing noises outside. There was commotion as the strangers abruptly stood, their eyes never leaving me, and exited the bar in haste. The atmosphere, heavy with dread, slowly lifted as the door swung shut behind them. The patrons exchanged bewildered glances, but the weight of their ominous presence lingered. I have never felt so scared like that in a long time. This was beyond bullying. Heaven knows what would become of me if they had caught up with me outside. Who would have believed a fairy could do me dirty? This happened to me in the heart of Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a lively night at a crowded bar where laughter and music filled the air. Little did I know, a chance encounter would lead to a chilling experience that still sends shivers down my spine. In the midst of the vibrant crowd, I noticed her, a mysterious girl with an enigmatic aura. Dressed in shadows and wearing an unsettling smile, she seemed to stand out like a haunting apparition against the backdrop of revelry. Our eyes met, and there was an inexplicable connection that drew me towards her. We engaged in casual conversation, her words like a siren song weaving through the chaos of the bar. The more we talked, the more I felt her beauty clouded my judgment. As the night progressed, she suggested moving to a quieter spot, away from the lively atmosphere of the bar. Intrigued and under her beguiling influence, I followed without questioning the decision. Little did I know, I was writing my own fate. We arrived at a secluded alley, the distant sounds of the bar fading into a distant hum. The air grew thick with an unsettling tension as I realized the gravity of the situation. She transformed before my eyes, her demeanor shifting from alluring to predatory. It was then that I understood my father's words to be careful of women. Panic set in as I tried to make sense of the situation, but her evil grin revealed a darker truth beneath the facade of allure. With each step, the alley seemed to stretch into an ominous corridor, and the once inviting night now held an ominous weight. The chilling realization dawned. I was the prey, and she was the hunter, luring unsuspecting souls into a trap. As her true intentions became clear, survival instincts kicked in. I bolted from the alley, the echoes of her laughter lingering like a haunting melody. I ran as my shaky legs could carry me. I was sweating profusely as I navigated the streets, praying and hoping I survived the situation. The night ended with a mix of relief and lingering dread. The encounter served as a stark reminder that danger can wear many faces, even one as captivating as the girl from the bar. Cincinnati's lively streets, once familiar, now bore the indelible mark of a nightmarish encounter that forever changed my perception of the thin line between allure and menace. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.